Connecting in progress.
Connecting in progress.
Yo.
What's going on?
I'm still trying to figure out how we can arrange getting on this earlier and still end up getting on it till way later. It's like every time we come on, I'm like, oh, I'm tired. So I'm going to not be tired for this one.
Huh. I was thinking, what's that logo on my t-shirt? And it's my microphone. That's how tired I am.
There's your face.
So yeah,
full energy.
I'm wired, mate.
Looks like
my brain is a puddle.
Yeah,
brain is literally a puddle. I just had my first German lesson.
Oh yeah.
My God, I thought I had got the hang of it a little bit with my home study. Oh no.
Yeah, well, ich habe 13 Jahre alt.
13. Yeah, that's probably more correct than I would say it, to be fair, judging by how wrong I was getting it today. So that's all good. Yeah, 2 classes a night times 2 nights per week. See how that goes. See if I can learn some Deutsch.
That's a lot of doing. Hasn't the human brain got about a 20-minute attention span? And you're trying to hammer in German.
3-minute attention span. I think
2 hours. 2 hours at a time.
I'm trying to rewire my attention span because I think basically social media and too many platforms and inputs has broken my attention span. It used to be awesome.
I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
It's rubbish.
Don't know what you're talking
Absolutely about. Trash. So I'm rewiring it by sitting and reading. We talked about this a little bit, didn't we, before? When I was talking about YouTube, and then you watch an interesting YouTube video, instead of watching the video, you just read the comments, or whatever's that. So now I'm being very conscious of paying attention to things and just reading instead of flicking around on stuff like some sort of fly flicker.
I'll give you a very live example of that. So I did that YouTube review, didn't I, for my Nike Metcon React Turbos. Put it on, obviously tried to share it a bit, get it out there. And someone I knew said, oh yes, so you did that review then of the Metcons. I'm like, yeah, I did it. He goes, oh, so what's the verdicts then?
So watch the video.
Gave him a summary.
Oh my God, it's amazing. You probably should just write it in the first comment, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know, all of you who can't be bothered to watch this because you've contracted adult ADHD from social media and too many inputs, the verdict is X. And then they wouldn't have to ask you, would they?
It's true.
It's a bummer.
You have to ask me. But then could they even be bothered to scroll down that far in the comments?
If it's the first one, you're probably all right, aren't you? And then if it's the first one, and then the other trick is that you have to do a comment, and then the comment has to have like 99 replies or something, doesn't it? And then you think, well, why is everyone reacting to that comment? So you click on the comments.
So you start reading the comments.
All the mong beans have written in the comments.
Yeah.
So you could probably do that, couldn't you? But
I took a risk in that case with my micro blog today, but I did specifically state how long it would take to read it.
Yeah, I was going to time it, but I think it's probably actually even less than 1 minute.
I think it's less. Yeah.
I did. You could put less than 1 minute read for all you ADHD followers.
That's the thing, because I can't judge it because I've written it. So then if I read it, I know what.
Yeah, you know what's coming, don't you? Yeah. So it's like you're not really reading.
I went for a minute. I think a minute.
I liked it.
A minute's good.
I liked it.
That was all about you. Of course you would.
No, that's why I liked it.
It was very complimentary.
I'm a full narcissist. It's all about me.
Yeah, it's my confirmation bias kicking in.
Yeah, just slamming in there. It was cool. I liked it. But actually, it's more, what else am I going to do? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not just going to give up. So we just keep ploughing ahead.
Speaking of
just keep ploughing.
Speaking of the social media trap and trying to focus,
quite a trap.
Yeah, and trying to focus and trying to rewire your brain. Did you reread Atomic Habits recently?
I haven't read Atomic Habits yet. I will buy it for my big 4.0, I think.
Yeah.
Mum was asking
let me buy it for your big 4.0, and then I'll have got you a present at least.
Yeah, you can do that. You can
slam it on Amazon.de.
get that on Amazon.de and get that sent over to the flat.
Yeah, so I've finished it, and I was talking to somebody at work today because they were saying something along the lines of they were getting distracted with Facebook, and I was saying, yeah, there's like if you're conscious of it and you need to focus. And I told him about the book, and I said, if you're interested in that sort of thing, then have a little read of the book. But old James Clear was talking about how he like makes a contract with himself to create these good habits where you reward yourself for completing a good habit or avoiding a bad habit. And one thing he did was like contract with himself about his phone. So when he needed to focus on writing, he either put his phone in a separate room or he gave his phone to his wife and said, don't give this back to me until like 12 o'clock.
Yeah,
it was such a distraction that sucked him in.
Yeah, I guess it depends how strong the distraction is, isn't it? Because what I am trying to do is not have to do something like that and be in control of how I interact with whatever it is. So I don't have a problem with Facebook at all. Like I have no Facebook issue. I just don't go on it because it's not interesting to me at all, basically. I do have a bit of a problem with Instagram because the content is so targeted, isn't it? That's the thing. Because on Facebook, it's just a bunch of people doing stuff, isn't it? And you can look if you want and just have a quick catch up with what people are doing or not. And most of the time, there's not that much interesting stuff on there, is there? But with Instagram, it's all like either training stuff, which is interesting, and because you only pick things that you're actually interested in, don't you? And then it's all either like moto stuff or MotoGP or like Nitro Circus type stuff and all these things that I really like. So because I'm trying to look after that, like the social media side of the garage but athlete stuff, I have to be super, super conscious. And I'm really aware of it now that when I go on the search thing to look for garage gym stuff and have a look at what people are doing and like just see what's going on and leave some comments and this sort of thing, I have to make a conscious effort not to hit any of the things. But they do it on purpose. The thing, whatever the first thing is up there, it's always some sort of picture. You think, oh, what's that? And I have to consciously think, no, do not hit that picture, because as soon as you hit that picture, then you're in scroll mode, aren't you? Because it sets you off. I don't know what the natural instinct or the need is behind that, because I can understand the like side of things from all the books and things that I've read. There's like a need for some attention, isn't there, or a need for to be important in a group, or a need to be recognized, and this is where this thing comes from, that people like to have likes and followers and stuff like that on Instagram. But I don't really understand what the basic need is behind the clicking on stuff and why that's difficult to not do, because it's just an entertainment thing. And this is one of the things that I was listening to and or reading about, is basically now it's almost impossible to be bored. Like it's literally impossible to be bored now, isn't it? Because in your pocket you've got like a de-boredom machine. Like if you're bored, in your pocket you can entertain yourself. And before phones and smartphones came about, people were able to be bored and they could sit and they could just think, or they could pay attention to something, or they could listen to themselves, think about some things, chill out a bit and just be bored. And now it's basically impossible to be bored. So as soon as you don't want to be doing something, you've got all these like hundreds or thousands of other options to use your attention on it. And then you end up then just like flitting between platform, video, this, YouTube comment, and crazy. But yeah, I was really conscious of then clicking on something before I started to do whatever my task was. And also like when I'm just going around doing boring stuff, I often like start doing something boring, get about 3/4 of the way through it, and then go do something else boring to like start a new boring thing. So I'm now like super conscious of that as well, and we'll finish boring thing, or whatever it is that I'm doing, before I move on to the next boring thing. So I was paying a lot of attention to that.
I was trying to do 3 things at once today, and I was just like, stop.
It just doesn't work, man.
Stop. Just do the one thing, finish that, and then do the next thing.
Yeah. It's unbelievable though how simple that is. And I think as well, that's really interesting that 75 hard, because what Andy Frisella is trying to do with that is build this habit of having that list and working through that list. But I think if you're already in this mode of flitting between one thing and another, you really have to go right back to the beginning, because even having that list is almost too many things to think about. And like I had to basically go, I got nearly all the way through that 75. I didn't, and then broke my hip. So I could do it, but because the tasks that I was doing were more or less involved in my daily life anyway. But I think if someone was coming from not being in a mode of training or eating well or drinking that water, there's so many new tasks to do at once that aren't really natural for you. That would surprise me if someone could actually jump on and do that, especially if they're in this like low attention mode already, like this ADHD type mode. So I think you just need to go back to the beginning, don't you? See, can you complete one thing? Can you get through one thing at a time? Task. Is that possible for you? And then once you can get through one thing at a time, get that dealt with, then you can start moving on to like, okay, now I've done one thing, now I'll do two things. But they almost skip that in that 75 and just say, okay, every day you need to do these seven things. It can be 7 things as well. That's completely unnatural for people. So I was just, thinking a lot about that and just paying a lot of attention to that. And it seems to be working. So that's good.
Do you find it funny that you because I was thinking about this months ago. One of the kids was bored and I was like, that's good that you're bored, because then it makes you be creative, because then you have to create entertainment for yourself. If you just slam YouTube on, then the hours just burn up. But actually sitting there being bored, time stands still. And I remember as a child being bored and not having anything to do and trying to find stuff to do, and it felt horrific. Like when you're that young, you're like, oh, I'm bored. I'm so bored. It's boring. There's nothing on telly. And then like Channel 5 came out and you're like, oh, there's an extra channel.
Yeah,
amazing. Stuff like that. Yeah. Back in the day. Before dial-up modems and stuff.
Yeah, but there's so few inputs, weren't there, of things that are actually interesting to people. Like you say, TV was 4 channels and then 5, and there was never anything on 5, was there? There's no internet. Like the only information source you could get was from a books, wasn't it? A book or an encyclopedia. And the other cool thing that I like about books is that basically, for whatever reason, you could assume that because it's quite a lot of effort to write a book and publish a book at the time, and not many people could do it, that the information inside the book was probably of quite a good quality. But then when the internet kicked off, and like especially at the start of the internet, and even like Wikipedia and sources like that, I think, man, this is just nonsense, because like anybody can write that. But now they're the sources of information, aren't they? Which is crazy. Like they're now the legitimate sources of information. These like big group edited pages, which is pretty crazy. And there's just so many sources. There's such this like information overload all the time. So I'm trying to just narrow down, get back to the basics. But it's quite funny because as well, I've seen on quite a few different social media accounts, like these guys like Andy Frisella and Ed Milet and these guys talking about this focus issue. Matt Vincent as well, talking about this topic of like focus and ADHD, which is weird because I've just recently started thinking about it and trying to find some content on it, useful content on it, and read about it. And they're all starting to say now. So it'd be interesting if there's a bit of a shift away from like this micro. And it was crazy yesterday. Was it yesterday? Facebook went down. Yeah. And all the servers went down. Yeah. How nice was that?
Yeah, I haven't really been on it. I haven't really been on it too much, but yeah, somebody tried to message me, and they messaged me on an actual text message and said, "Oh, this wouldn't go through on WhatsApp." I was like, "Okay." And I was trying to find a picture of me with long hair, and I went to my Facebook profile because I knew I had one on there somewhere, and it didn't work. I was like, "Oh, that's bullshit." And I saw something today about how people think that it's to do with some whistleblower or something in Facebook. Apparently all the Facebook and stuff, or everything went down at the exact time she was like testifying in some whistleblow thing. I don't know anything more about it. You know me. With my
the Facebook apparently like historically are not very forthcoming on why they have server problems. Like in 2019 they had one, didn't really give a good reason. On this one they were saying it was apparently it was a change to the infrastructure of the internet that happened, like how the internet runs, and that basically took out their servers. But can you imagine a company the size of Facebook plus Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever else they've got running, that all relies on these servers, and that if it's down for any length of time, the amount of click-based revenue that they lose.
Billion. They lost 34 billion.
Is that what it was?
Off their market value.
Oh yeah, but that's different. That's just because the share price dropped.
Yeah.
So it's share price dropped. But yeah, still in that time, 34 billion, but it's not actually, it's just a number, it's just a stock price related number, is it? So that'll pop back up. But what I was thinking about was not the value of the company in terms of stock, but the clicks that they lost in that time, because it was out from 5 until 1, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what's that? 3,
a lot of clicks. Well, 3 days is a week to you, so that was about 7 hours. 8 hours.
It's a lot of clicks, and I was thinking, oh, that's probably millions of dollars worth of revenue that they've lost. So how did they not have how does a company like that
not have a backup? Yeah, because
like you have a backup server in an office where all you've got on there is like pictures of your dog or whatever, don't you? So why would Facebook not have? And you can imagine the server room that they've got is probably like those old school pictures of the people trying to put the rockets on the moon, with these huge cabinets and just rows and rows and rows of cabinets. And they must have that times 2 or that times 3 to back it all up, must they? So that didn't really make a lot of sense, especially when it all relies on that.
It's funny, isn't it? Because that, people lose their shit when stuff like that happens. Like Facebook goes down or WhatsApp's not working, all that kind of stuff. People go, it's news. It is actual news.
Yeah.
But imagine if, going back a few years now, imagine if Bebo didn't work for a couple of hours. What would you have done if MySpace had crashed? How on earth would you have functioned?
How are you going to live? Yeah, it's crazy, man. But people live their lives on Facebook now, don't they? So people run businesses on Facebook. People run businesses on WhatsApp, on Instagram. Like we do all our stuff on Instagram, don't we? So
this is true.
I was trying to post yesterday and I couldn't post. And you get the orders come through Instagram, don't they? So a lot of people rely on that, which is even more crazy that they don't. I just can't believe that they don't have a backup server. How did that all go down? But I guess
we didn't lose 34 billion, but it wasn't far off.
Oh, went far off, mate. Yeah, 34p. If it was related to the internet, like basically whatever structure of the internet underlying everything else, then it wouldn't make any difference with how many servers you had, because the whole thing just didn't work. So maybe it was that. But I was thinking, how many people got fired when that went down? Because you're not doing your job right there, right? If it was a server related thing,
or if someone just tripped over the
plug or whatever.
Yeah, turn it off, turn it on again.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they probably were frantically
turning it off and on again.
You can imagine they're all going mental.
Control-Alt-Delete.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? All of them are just standing there turning it off and turning it on again.
Take the cartridge out, blow in that, and blow in the slot. And then turn it off, turn it on again, and it will fire up.
Get the CD.
Sega.
Give it a rub. Give it a little rub.
I'll fire right back up.
And you would get some disc cleaner. Was that a thing? Disc cleaner?
Yeah. You used to put didn't you used to put
like a drop of it or something? No?
Yeah. To get the laser firing up. So speaking of things not working, I bought a PlayStation 4.
No.
Or PlayStation 4. I'll tell you the purchase story. So I was looking for one, and I like to get a bargain, and I saw one pop up in Great Yarmouth, and the guy wanted 150 quid for it, for PlayStation 4 Pro, 1 terabit. Yeah, so 1,000 mega
terabyte.
bytes. Gig, whatever.
1,000 megabytes would be a gig.
1,000 gigabytes.
Jeez, that's huge, man.
I don't know. One TB. It says.
That's terabyte. Yeah.
So it was like new, boxed, one controller, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Other games are available. And I was like, okay, I'll ping him an offer, 130, and he was like, that's okay, thumbs up. And I was like, good. Didn't come back to me. I was like, okay, all right, mate. Yeah, how do you want paying? Cash, PayPal, bank transfer? And he was like, anything. I was like, okay, so he's flexible. That's good.
Carrots.
Right, yeah. When are you going to be in? When can I come pick it up? What's your address? The usual stuff that you shouldn't really have to ask when someone's trying to sell something. So he's like, yeah, here's my address. Just here's my address. And I was like, okay, can I be in tomorrow afternoon? He was like, yes, that's okay. I was like, fucking hell. This is like pulling
Some
teeth.
people are quite special though with this sort of discussion, aren't they? This type of conversation. I've had this problem.
So I eventually arranged a time to meet this chap, and it was pissing it down with rain. And I am very aware that people will often get scammed on Facebook Marketplace and things, and people have to be really wary. Don't give anybody your bank details and security information, all that kind of stuff. And I have this fear that when I go to buy something from somebody I've never met before in a choice district, that I am going to be kidnapped and put into the sex trade for human trafficking, like taken. That's what goes through my head. As this is taken, I'm going to get dragged from under the bed, and then that's the end of old Will. And so I obviously screenshot the guy's address and his profile picture and sent it to you. It's his last known location at this time. This is where I'm going to be. And I had the exact same thing come into my mind when I got that assault bike for 350 quid in Norwich. I was like, this can't be right. I'm just going to get bundled into the back of a van and they're just going to rob me and stab me. But that was fine. So I turned up this guy's house. Turned up this guy's house, and it's raining. So get out of the car, and there's a silver 3-door BMW in front of me outside his house. I get out, and this guy gets out, and he sort of turns around, he waves, and he's like, oh, and I'm like, are you Mantas? And he's like, yeah, I've got it in the car. And I'm like, got it in the car? What? Okay. And he's like, yeah, there's loads of people in my house. You can come and check it out. Come and sit in my car. And I'm like, I didn't want to sit in this guy's fucking car. Oh my God.
Ready for the bundle.
So I was like, yeah, okay.
Let's get ready to bundle.
I was like, yeah. So I got in the car, and he's obviously this far away from me. He's like, yeah, just reset it. You can feel it's still warm. I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I feeling if it's still warm? I was like, does it all work? Fine. He's like, yeah.
To a TV.
He was like, yeah, if there's any problems with it, just text me. I'll give you your money back. I was like, fine. And he goes, and you read the advert, right? And I'm like, yeah. Oh, no. He's like, and it comes with one controller. And he like handed me a controller. I was like, that's fine. And he's like, and I said it comes with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It doesn't. I've sold that, but I'm going to give you this game instead. And it's like Uncharted 4, and it's worth like £1 to trade in. I was like, yeah, that's fine, mate. That's actually fine.
Just get me out of here.
Put it in the bag. And I was like, okay, so yeah, happy with that? Yeah, right, great. So here's your money. Count that. And he counts out the money. And I was like, all right, nice one. Thanks for that, buddy. Went to get out of the car. The fucking handle won't work. I'm panicking. I'm like, the handle doesn't work. And he like he's like looking in my eyes. He like reaches across me. I'm like, oh God, this is it. This is it. He's got the money now. This is it. And he's like pulling on the handle, looking at me, and he was going like, piece of shit car. I'm like, fuck. And then he starts like pressing the button like on his key to unlock the doors. He's going, oh, it's a piece of shit car. Door's a bit stiff. And I'm like, yeah, I get that.
Really
get that door's
stiff.
And he reaches across
like a murder.
He reaches across again, and he pulls the door, and it like pops open. And I'm like, yep. I'm like, straight out. Like, oh my God. So yeah. And then I get it back, and he says he's wiped it. I was like, okay, fine. So plug it in, and it's still got all of his stuff on it. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, I don't want to put my details in on a system that he's got his details in. So I like restore it to factory settings, initialize it, all this kind of stuff. It takes 3 hours for it to do. And then I turn it on, and I go to like set it up, plug the controller in, and the controller doesn't register or anything. So then I'm like Googling, controller won't initialize, and it's all like, oh my God. So I spent like hours trying to get it to work. It does work now. Lovely chap on Mantas. Thanks for the PlayStation 4. Absolutely. It does work now.
Okay.
It does work now. But yeah, I didn't like that. I don't buy PlayStations from people in BMWs. It wasn't fun.
It doesn't sound like a good idea. That story reminded me of the story when the geezer dropped me off here, and we stopped in the car park in the middle of nowhere, and he got out of the van and pulled like a box cutting knife out and was like, "Get out." And I was like, "No, mate, I'm not getting out. You better put that down and get back in, and we're gonna go." Like, okay, yeah. I thought, okay, yeah. Don't joke. Don't be joking with that anyway. Otherwise, I was thinking, where am I going to bury this geezer? Lunatic. Not good.
So to fill in the blanks on that story, that was a man that Matt hired to take all of his worldly possessions from Spain to Austria, and he was not the full ticket.
No, he was not. He was a few short of a six-pack. That's for sure.
You got there?
I did get here, yeah, 2 days later, with what looked like a dose of Corona on the geezer as well. But
oh god,
yeah, it was a special treat.
So should we talk about some training? I can tell you a bit about training.
You can tell me about your training. I can't tell you anything about my training.
Well, it'll be another short one then. Another short one.
I haven't done any training.
I've paused my 5-3-1 stuff.
Oh my god.
I put it on pause. It was going shit, and it carried on being shit.
Why not?
The point at which I paused it was I went to squat on Saturday, and I think what happened was I benched on Friday, and then I tried to squat on Saturday, and my lat couldn't take it. So my tweaky lat that I have, basically, I haven't been feeling it at all. Training has just been garbage. So I was a bit apprehensive about this squat session. I was like, oh, should I squat today? You know, when you think, oh, should I do this today? You're like, oh, just get it done. Just
do it anyway.
Just do it. And those are the ones when something bad always happens. So I'll have to remember that. But long story short, it was 3s week. I was building up to a heavyweight, and for some reason, I was like thinking, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stand up like the one. I just don't feel like I've got it in me. Sorry, the final work set. For some reason, I was thinking about how I'm going to get out of the bottom when I can't get back up. So that's not a good headspace to be in when you're about to squat. Like thinking about when I fail this, how am I going to not kill myself? So I had that in my head. But I went, so the 5s were okay, and I wasn't squatting to the box. I thought, right, I'm just going to take this nice and easy. I'm going to go same depth, because my knee's been absolutely fine, same depth, but no box, and just see how I go. And the 5s were okay, the knee was okay. It was hard because I've not done it without a box for the best part of a year. And then I unracked the first work set. So for a set of 3, just 110 kilos. So I just popped it up, like stood it up, and I felt my lat just go. I was like, oh no. And then I walked it back. I was like, okay, maybe it's just, just
it's just a twinge.
maybe it's just wind. And then so then I squat, and as I was coming down, it went, nah, this is not for you today. And I was like, okay, that's 1. Raced again, went down, and he was like, seriously, if you carry on, bad things happen. I was like, okay, yeah, that's 2. I was like, I've only got to do 1 more rep, and then I can just get through it. So then I did the third rep, and racked it. And I was like, okay, what are we going to do now? My lat doesn't feel good. That's happened before. I've managed to finish a whole session like that before. Let me at least load up the bar and see what's going on. So 1, 2, 5 was the next work set, and I got myself under it, got ready to go, went to pop it up, and I was just like, no, this is not happening.
No.
So I actually stopped, 6 to 10 reps short of where I probably normally would have stopped a session. So that's growth.
Yeah, that's some mental progress there.
And then I sat down, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Ever again.
I don't want to do this. And then I was thinking, what can I do instead of powerlifting? Like, I wonder what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll get into running or something. I was like that frame of mind.
Feeling weird. Yeah.
I was just like, no, what is it? So then I did a bit of mobility stuff, and then I jumped on the bikes, did a few 100 calories on the bikes just to get it. I got invited to do a little workout as well, and I was like, I can't. I've just tweaked my back. I can't even pick up a bar.
How is it now?
It's improved a lot. So yeah, I've been had the massage gun on it. I've been using like bath salts and the CBD balms and things like that. And I did that on Saturday, and I trained Monday and today, and it was okay during the training. So I did squat cleans today. Did a 90 kilo squat clean, and that's fine. But I don't. I've got it in my head now that if I go back to that squat session I was doing, it's mind fucked me that's going to happen again.
Just do it, man. It won't happen again. Just do it.
It won't happen again. I mean, there's absolutely no reason it happened in the first place. So
yeah, but it could be
the chance of having it again are minimal.
It could be in all sorts of things, like if you haven't slept well, or if you're a bit stressed out.
It feels like I can feel it's not right at the minute. So I'm going to just.
It's not great though, is it, when your lat goes? Because I had that. I think it was before.
All the cool stuff involves your lats.
Well, just you brace it, don't you, as well? When you take the squat, you think, well,
yeah, that's it. That's what I did.
Not be able to brace my lat because it's squatting, but it basically supports your whole upper body, doesn't it? While you're, well, not supports it, but it's part of the bracing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Upper body. So like when you pull down on it, you're like, oh God.
Yeah.
I had the same problem. It was grouchy.
So I'll continue thinking about my powerlifting future.
Get straight back on the horse, dude. That's the best way.
Yeah, because otherwise, I was thinking about doing some Olympic stuff, like rather than squat, bench, and deadlift, do like squat cleans, snatch, that kind of stuff.
You're just about to make it, aren't you? You're just about.
I'm just about to
over the edge.
Yeah, but that's where I start injuring myself.
You'll be managing it properly now, aren't you? Like compared to how we were managing that before. Yeah. The sort of level of maturity with regards to training has moved on like hundreds of %, hasn't it? It's a completely different game, basically. To just do that and leave that when your lat wasn't feeling good is quite a big step forward, isn't it? So
when was the last time we spoke? It was quite late in the week last week, wasn't it? So I think I hadn't done
Wednesday?
Bench at that point. I think I hadn't done bench. Yeah, because I benched on Friday. And then on Saturday.
I think it was Wednesday, wasn't it? Because I just got out of hospital. My brain was a bit fried.
I think bench wasn't even that.
I haven't trained since Friday before I did this.
Yeah.
So I will try something. But I did this because my next juggernaut session was going to be something like 8 sets of 8. You
did it to get out.
Like squatting 8 sets of 8, like 100 kilos, which is not a big weight, but 8 sets of 8. I'm like, come on. Come on, Chad.
Self-sabotage.
Who are you trying to kid? But now I'm going to have to try it anyway, because I don't really want all that to go to waste. So what I was thinking of was, can I do some sort of 5x5 squatting, and then the rest of it can be light? Or will this work with a strap? Will this work with a... What do they call those straps? Nothing. Straps. Will this work with a strap? Can I do pull-ups with that strap on? Can I do rows with it? I guess I can't really do any bicep stuff, but I was thinking if I put the strap around my forearm, can I do something? I'm gutted, man. It was going really well. And then just for that little...
I thought of you today and your thumb tendon issues, because as I was doing this workout where it was assault bike into squat cleans into double dumbbell burpee box step overs, so it was fairly decent. And then after you'd finished the actual workout, you then built up to a 1 rep max squat clean, and the workout weight built up to 80 kilos. So I was doing a few squat cleans at 80, and then I put 90 on the bar and I failed it. And then I had another go at it and I hit it, but I got it. And I remember just thinking, I've just got to pull this so hard that it's like I'm just gonna pull it, and then I'm just gonna fall underneath it and just let it take me down, because I can't think about trying to, drop under the bar. I have to just let it take me.
Just send it.
Yeah. So
Take me for all you've
I
got.
did that, and I think because I can't quite remember what happened from when I caught it to when I was then standing up. So I think like it got me and like made me black out for like half a second, and then I like fought it up. But as I stood it up and then I put it down, and I could feel all in my thumbs. All in my thumbs was really, really sore. And I think that's just from having really poor shoulder mobility in terms of catching it. I think because I was down there and it was obviously I grip in the bar, it just pulled my thumbs back, and I was like, man, I do not want to do that at all again. I was like, seriously, I think I've hurt myself. And then a couple of minutes later, it was gone. I did think of you then. I thought it was,
I did do that. Yeah,
hanging.
That was not cool. You can tell because when you pull your thumb, if it breaks, it like goes down here somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's how you know.
It didn't break, but it was sore, and I was like, I don't want to do that again. So
and it doesn't go tack, apparently.
Tack
is the hospital-based evaluation of whether your ligament is still attached.
Tack story
or not. So, yeah.
And then my last, I haven't got many stories today, but my last one was it yesterday? No, Monday. I can't remember. But anyway, I did a workout, and it was 50 double unders, my favorite. They're either there or they're not. Into 10 snatch, just like a power snatch with 40 kilos, into a 15 calorie row. And it was like intervals. So you had 2.5 minutes to do that work, and then rest, and then 2.5 minutes. And it was 4 rounds of that. And man, I smoked that workout. I smashed it. My double unders, I tripped once out of the whole 4 rounds. So I did sets of 50 unbroken. Sweet. And then I revolutionized a couple of people's bailing out of barbells overhead techniques, because I was thinking I need to get from here to the rower quickly, and if I drop this bar in front of me, I've got to manage this bar. Like I've got to like wait for it to settle or push it down or step over it or whatever. So I decided that once I got up there on the last rep, I was just going to walk away from it. And and it just fell behind me. And I heard somebody, I don't know who it was, but somebody went, "Will your bar?" And I was like, "That's fine." And then just walked. And then there's a couple rounds, because I did it for the first round and the second round. And then a couple of rounds later, like as I was resting, I saw a few other people do it. And I was like, yeah.
Everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing the backdrop.
Let's go. But
Very nice.
So I like that. I was worried that in case, if I didn't do it right, obviously, because I'm not managing it, and it just rolled into something else. But I'd only ever do it if there was nobody behind me, and there was nobody directly to that side of me, because the other person was double undering over there and somebody else was double undering over. So there was nobody near me. But yeah, I liked it.
A win's a win. That's what I say.
Yeah. Because I don't like having the bar, especially with 40 kilos on, when it hits the floor, it's like, it's wild. It's just like, it's gone.
Yeah.
So it was cool. I like doing that. So yeah, that was the old Will West behind the head barbell technique. They'll call that WWBTHBT. Sure. So hashtag that.
Just get that.
WWBTHBT.
Behind the head
barbell technique.
Okay, yeah, got that. Yeah.
Hashtag that.
Hashtag.com.
So if you see anybody doing it after today, even if it's old footage from like 2017, that was me.
I'll give him that paper.
That was me. Hand it over.
So yeah, I haven't been training. I haven't trained at all. So I'm now turning into a massive donut.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal.
Have you eaten any donuts?
I have not, but I tell you what I did eat, which was a mistake, because I think I've had a headache since I came out of that surgery.
Yeah.
And I think because we talked about the double whammy of anesthetic, didn't we? I think.
Yeah, you can't remember much from last week, but yeah, we did.
No, man, no. So that was pretty intense. Then, because I am quite bright and I didn't have any bikes to ride, so on Saturday I went to watch Flat Track. I went to watch Renault ride Flat Track, and we played a bit with the setup of his bike and that sort of thing, and that was cool. Then on Sunday, I decided that I would go on a massive hike up the hardest mountain.
Yeah, man, that was well good
to hear.
I like this video, the pictures.
Yeah, so I went on the hardest hike of the mountain that's around here. And I was a bit concerned because I was talking to one of the guys in the office, and he was sort of organising it, and he sent me the link to the route. So I said, look, I want to be a little bit sensible with my hand. So if there's any climbing or ladders, I don't really want to do it, knowing that probably if I was already on the route and there was a climb or some ladders, I would do it anyway. So I said, I don't want to do it if there's any climbing or ladders. So he sent me the route via WhatsApp before the Facebook service went down. And so I'm looking at the route, and I'm looking at it thinking, well, it looks kind of sketchy, the whole thing. And it was something like 5 kilometers and 1,400 meters of elevation. And to put that in perspective, some years ago, I did an ultra marathon, like trail marathon, and it was 47 kilometers with 2,700 meters of elevation. So an extra 40 kilometers plus, and like whatever, 1,300 meters of elevation. So double elevation, but 40 kilometers longer. And it felt like in that I was going up quite a lot at quite a steep gradient for a long time, because it took me 7.5 hours to finish. So I was thinking, well, this thing can't be, this is wrong. This is not right. And then the description of the route said, yeah, it starts off quite easy, and then you sort of get going, and then it starts to get steep.
Quite literally a steep learning curve.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, we'll try. So started it, and it was like immediately going pretty steep to the point that I was like blowing already. And I'm not super unfit, but I'm not very fit for that sort of exercise. So I'd blown already, but it's just steps and stuff. So we're going up these steps. And then as we're going along, with a girl who was with us from work goes, oh yeah, there's this other bit called Stairway to Heaven that comes in a bit. I'm thinking, oh yeah.
Sounds right.
And it turns out Stairway to Heaven is basically like they've got this whole mountainside, more or less. It's not vertical, but it's steep enough that if you needed to, you could go up, basically climbing it like a ladder. But there's no rope or anything around it. Bearing in mind, like in the UK, when you're doing working at height, I think over 2 meters high, you have to have like a safety harness and a yellow vest and a hard hat and be attached to whatever thing you're climbing on. And this was something like 600 meters up. Like, I was scared to look around. It was so high and so steep on this thing and so sketchy. Because if you put like 1 foot wrong, basically, you fall off this thing and just go down the mountain. It was insane. And that was this Stairway to Heaven section. Then you go to the next bit, because the whole thing is called Dopplersteig. In the Dopplersteig bit, it is basically vertical, and the steps are like cut into the rock. And the step is only about like that. So like a few inches, like say 3 or 4 inches deep.
It's about that.
Yeah, about that. Hang on. Yeah, about that. So if you've got big feet or it's slippery or you're not paying attention, small. If you're not paying attention, you end up basically like falling down an entire mountain. And apparently every year, like 2 people die going up that thing.
Hence the name, Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, not on that bit. I think they must
One-way ticket
on the rock bit, but completely bonkers, man. And when we were going up, there's people coming down. So like I'm like clinging on for dear life to this thing, because at some point, like the safety rail, is a wire basically that goes alongside the steps, but the wire's loose. The wire's not tight, and the other people are holding onto the wire as well. So if you grab it at the wrong time and someone's holding onto it, you end up like waving around on the step trying to hit. But the concentration exercise really helped, because I think, well, if I look down, then I'm in trouble, because I'm not scared of heights, but like I was actually legitimately pretty, I wasn't scared, but I was quite nervous that if I put my foot wrong as well with only one hand, I wasn't really going to be able to do anything to stop me falling off the side of a mountain. So I was then trying not to look up, because looking up, it would just look like it was miles, man. And it was so far. It just went on forever, these steps. I'm trying not to look up. So I'm using my concentration technique from not going on, looking at the comments on YouTube to try and like go step by step up this thing, up this Dopplersteig. But it's like 20 minutes going up this thing, like on these tiny little steps and this tiny little rock. And then people are coming down, and they're running down like there's some like crazed human mountain goat running down the thing, like completely bonkers, man. Like I can literally barely go up it. and there's people running back down. Crazy. And we got to the top and we were like, "Oh, you want to go back down?" I was like, "No, I want to go down." No way.
I live here now.
No way, man. Yeah, I was like, "I'll stay up here." Luckily, there's a cable car, so you can jump in the cable car, and then it takes you like 3 minutes to get down, because it took 2 hours and 40 minutes, I think, to do the whole thing. But it's
Love
more
how
or less
your
super
week of
steep
not
down
training
the way.
involves a 2 hour 40-minute mountaineering.
I'm
not training this week.
Exercise.
It's like there's people on this planet who couldn't even dream of being able to do that, and you're like, "Man, I'm not training this week. Just climbed a mountain."
I was pretty happy that I did it, because I haven't done any of that before, and I haven't done any of it for a long time. And also because I'm only small, each step was almost like a full lunge, like a step up, like a really high box step.
Well, the
up.
mountain's a lot bigger to you, because you
massive.
start from a lot further down than everybody else.
Yeah. So, well, one of the guys we went with was like, he's in metric, like 192, I think, 1.92 m. So what's that? Well over 6 foot, like 6.5 foot, something like that. So he wasn't even sweating, mate. He didn't even break a sweat the whole time, because he's doing like one step and I'm doing 3.
Did you do like Michael J. Fox jumping over a gate and he was just on top? Just like, whoop.
Yeah, he just did it. No, actually, at one point, I've got a picture of it. We got to like a first summit and there was a cross, and everyone's getting onto this like concrete block that's underneath the cross, and they're having their picture taken. I'm not really normally that into that, but I was so pleased that I managed to get up that thing with one hand. Yeah, and didn't die. I was like, "Listen, we're getting a picture on this." So we went around to get on a picture, and I had to like climb onto this rock, this like concrete block that that this cross was on, and he was stood on another rock, and he literally just stepped from one rock onto the thing that I had to like physically climb onto, like a little kid, like when in I don't know, in some film when they've got the massive chairs.
You're like a borrower.
Oh, come on, man. And then he just like stepped back down again, and I had to like literally leap off this thing. I was like, well, if you step down and I can jump down. I'm a bit nervous about jumping off stuff, one, because I didn't want to fall over this, and then 2, because my ankle's a bit messed up. But I jumped off it. That's a long way. What
people can't see is that Matt has got a matchbox as his desk, and he sits on a cotton reel. And for his breakfast, he has 1 Cheerio. It's like that.
Yeah, 1 Cheerio with a drop of milk on it. Yeah. What's that from? That's from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That's
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah, the borrowers, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So I was really, really pretty happy that I managed to go up there. That's pretty cool, because I was thinking, I'm not really sure if I'm going to get up this, to be honest, because I remember training for that ultra marathon, and it was really hard on the legs, really hard, and I was blowing pretty hard literally from the moment we started going up, because well, we're not super high up here, but then by the time you get close to the top, you're already quite high, because I think the total elevation 1400. Yeah, I think the total elevation is about 1400, something like that. But it's pretty high. It's enough to notice that you haven't got the same amount of density of oxygen. So,
okay.
So I was pretty pleased with that.
Quick question for you then. Would you or would you not take your downhill bike back down it?
You couldn't do it, man. You'd die.
Yeah.
I was thinking it as I was going up. I was thinking, I wonder if there's anyone good enough to ride the downhill bike back down this. But honestly, it's completely insane. Like some bits are completely vertical, and they're like completely vertical into 180-degree hairpin corner, and then the wooden log steps and stuff like that are completely bonkers. Like literally, if you slipped, if you went, well, the step is as wide as the computer. The step is like a foot wide. It's like 12 inches wide. So if you miss on the step, you're dead, basically.
I wouldn't like that. That's like 2.5 hours of terror. Like
yeah, honestly, I was like, this is pretty sketchy. But then I was thinking, well, there's people who are going up and down this like they've been, like it's nothing, basically. Like they're just walking along the street. So I like to do some more and then get a bit more.
Yeah, you probably get more used to it and you get acclimatized.
But that is the sketchiest one, because when I was reading the link the guy sent me, he's saying, he wrote in the message, this is the link. I don't think there are any ladders. And I was like, yeah, great. There's no ladders, but I'm looking at it thinking they've cut this step into the side of a mountain to go up. So there's no ladder, but I still had to like climb up some bits, and some bits of it as well are like
It's worse
natural
because
terrain.
there's no ladder.
Yeah, there's no ladder. Yeah, if it was a ladder, it would be better. And then the description of it said, because there's various links on there. Yeah, like, there's various things on
ladder
there,
free since that kid died on the ladder.
Easy, like easy route, medium route, alpine.
You went on the
route.
black run. You went off.
And the hardest one is the black one, and it's called expert mountaineering route.
So you've made a bit of an error there, because you've said before that you always look to like top the thing, don't you? You're like, okay, so how do I top that like high? How do I get the more extreme thing, like to go faster, to go higher? So you should have gone on the blue run.
Yeah, but the problem is if I go on the blue run and it's not scary at all,
you won't go back.
But that was quite good, because it was so scary that I'm thinking, I'm actually quite scared, so I need to do this some more. And then when we got up to the top, I was thinking what would be really cool is to do this with a paraglider and then fly down. Because they do that from here. It's quite common. You can't do it from that mountain because it's too close to the airport, so you get hit by a jet. But you can do it for some other ones, because the other cool thing is like in front of the mountain, when you get to the top, you can see, if you look into the Austrian side, you can see all the different mountain ranges, and there's a bunch of different summits that you can do. There's all different ones that they've all got names, and the local people know what they are. If you look on the German side, it's completely flat. But yeah, on the Austrian side, there's all these different peaks, and on some of the peaks, you can basically like hike up with your paraglider on your back, which is like 15 kilos apparently, and then you fly down. So what I was thinking of doing was that basically was just like, while my hand is not good, I'll hike up some of these things with my vest on, or try not fall over backwards and get killed on a mountain, because that would be bad. But you could do something a little bit less sketchy, and I think there are slightly less sketchy ones than that, because it's quite hard work anyway when you hike that sort of thing, and it's just the natural terrain, but it's steep, but without the weird steps where if you slip you die. So that bit would be good to remove while doing it with some extra weight on. That would be quite good. So I was thinking about doing a little bit more of that, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty bonkers. And what else? Oh yeah, and the whole point of that story was that I haven't been behaving very well with eating. And what I took up there, because that's what you have to take when you go hiking, is like brioche buns, like brioche rolls with Milka spread. And I had an 8-pack of these buns and then Milka spreads. So I was like, well, I need to try to see if it's actually all right. So I had one the night before with the Milka spread, and then one turned into 3, and then I had another 5. So I took 4. Have I got some left? No, I've still got 2 left. So I must have had 2. I must have had 2 the night before. Took 4, but I had a headache from the point that I ate the Milka. And when I went to sleep, man, and when I woke up in the night, I felt like someone had like punched a rod through my brain. That's
not a good bedtime snack.
Oh my God. It was horrendous. And I was like, well, I'm going to go and hike this thing anyway, because fingers crossed, I'll feel better.
This Milka will kick in any time.
Yeah, and this Milka will kick in any time soon. I'm going to be all right. And I managed to find a pair, it was funny actually, because I was thinking it was hurting so bad, my headache. And I was thinking, I must have some paracetamol or something, or like some sort of painkiller around it. So I've got all the painkillers that I bought for this, but they're a bit heavy. And it was like,
that's what you need. That's what you need when you're hanging off the side of the mountain.
Yeah, but yeah, that was it. And I was like, well, if I take
drowsy
and I get out of that mountain, it's going to take me out big time. So I was looking for some painkiller. I sat on the sofa and I had some of my stuff there from motocross, and I take the painkillers with me. And I looked on the table and there was an ibuprofen, and my head hurt so much that I audibly went, oh yes.
Oh baby.
I was like,
oh yes, give me that sweet ibuprofen.
Sweet ibuprofen, man. So I took that, and it took the edge off a bit. But then the next day it was still killing me, because I woke up at 3 a.m. It was still killing me, like someone had whacked me. So I took one of these strong, for some reason they prescribed me some specific stuff for headaches in the hospital for some reason, which is weird because they've never done that before. But I took it, and it did take the edge off it, but it still hurt a bit. But then I was thinking, oh my God, if this kicks in hard while I'm up there, up this ladder, then I'm going to be in trouble. But it didn't, so that was good. And then I managed to get through the day. That's pretty good, but it was really sunny. Come back, head was still hurting. And then it's basically still hung around that because I think that still trying to get the milker out of my system because I ate so much milker. And then I come back home last night from work. I didn't eat any brioche, but the milker was on the side. And I was like, don't eat that milker, man. Don't eat it. And I was like, I'll just have a little bit. So I had a little bit with a spoon and started going at it with the milker jar.
With a spoon?
With a spoon. And I was like, mate, what is the matter with you? You've gone from 2 weeks ago completely on it. No problem with this, not at all. So I put the milk in the bin. So there's a third of a jar of milk in the bin.
Okay.
Get
the milk out of the bin.
It's not it's not coming out of the bin.
Take the spoon all of the milker into the bin itself, and then throw it back in. If that milk is in a jar with a lid on it, there's still a chance.
No, man, it's staying in there. This is the other thing.
Just shit all over that jar.
It's got to stay in there. Otherwise, there's no.
You're going to wake up at 3 a.m. with like cold milker sweats. You're going to go,
oh God, but I feel all right now. But honestly, I think it was that because I don't eat any sugar, and then I ate that, and I was like, I feel terrible. And then had the problem was when I went up the mountain and took the milker sandwiches, I took 4 and I ate all 4 once we finished the thing, like these little brioche thing, and I rammed them with milker as well. They were like a milk extravaganza in this.
They were heavy with spread.
And because it was all I took was that. And I took those in terms of like real food, and I took 4 Cliff Bars. I ate 1 Cliff Bar.
Man.
And then 4 of these.
Did you have any Kendall mint cake as well?
No, I should have done them. Yeah, whatever that other stuff is, that like mega fudge. So that crippled me basically. That like properly crippled me. So I think I might even be allergic to sugar because I felt so bad afterwards. So yeah, that's in the bin. That's staying in the bin, which is good because that's kind of dealt with that. So I'm trying to behave, but I didn't do a very good job. So now I've exercised that milker demon. It's tasty though. Yeah. Just like feel like an addict or something with a proper withdrawal from it. It's really bad.
Yeah.
So,
hey. Who hasn't gone on a 3-day milker bender?
3-day milker binge. But the 2 brioche things are in the fridge as well, so they need to go in the bin as well. I make some sort of egg sandwich out of them or something. I don't know. Something else. Cool. Yeah. Other than that, cool. And the German class melting my brain into a puddle today.
Yeah.
Not too much.
Good week.
So I'm going to eat a steak for dinner. So to make up for the milk, I'm going to eat a steak. So
yeah. Whack it in a little brioche roll. Get rid of them.
Yeah, well, that might not be too bad, might it?
Little Philly cheesesteaks action.
Do that. Yeah.
All right, mate.
That is my next task.
Well, we're coming up on an hour.
Are we really? Wow.
I know. That flew by. I think so. Anyway, I've got a timer of an hour.
I think so because I've been making some timestamps as we've been going, but I didn't start.
That's useful.
An hour. Yeah.
That's productive.
Is productive. Although what I'm trying to do is write it without looking like I'm writing.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I don't think I'm doing a very good job of that. I need to practice.
Right away. Yeah, I clocked something at 47 minutes. So I've just got 47 minutes in my brain.
So do you know what is the time on your timer now and what is the time now?
1 hour, 1 minute and 53 seconds.
So 22:17 is 1 hour, 1 minute and 53 seconds because of what I can't see is the time. So all I've written down is the time. But from 1 hour and 1 minute and 53 seconds, I can work out the times of the other one, and I'll send you a little snapperoo.
Yeah, it will be within a few minutes of stuff.
I only I started doing it at 9:39. Yeah, so there's like 40 minutes worth of stamping there.
That's useful. And just in case you've got this far in the podcast, let's say thank you very much. We are talking about post-production, taking little clips of things out of the podcast to bait you into watching it, basically. Like a little screenshot, like a little funny anecdote, because that all takes time. And as we know, that is a precious commodity. Yeah, so thanks for getting this far. Thank you for watching up until, what are we, episode 27?
We've gone over the 6 month mark.
Yeah, I'm doing this consistently for 6 months.
Months, plural.
So you can, if you enjoyed it, like this video. Drop us a comment below if you want to tell Matt how much of a goon he is for having a milker fetish, or if you want to tell me what I should do instead of 531 powerlifting. You can do that. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're listening on Spotify or any other podcast platform. Thank you very much. Enjoy what you're doing with your eyes, because it's not looking at us. Matt wants to give you the 2 guns, but you can't see that, so he's holding them up. He's going to holster them. No, safety's off. Oh, put it back down. Safety's off.
We should do this at the start, shouldn't we?
We do need to do so. We'll never learn the lesson.
No one makes
never
it
learn
at
the
the
lesson.
start. I'm going to write it down, and next time we're going to do it at the start.
Okay, will you lead that one? When we go, when she goes, recording is in progress, that's the cue. That's the habit. Cue.
Okay. Let's make that an atomic habit, because the atomic habit should be the type of person you want to be, not the action, shouldn't it? You don't want to go for a run. You want to be a runner. So we don't want to do a good podcast. We want to be the podcast kings. Yeah, exactly. Intro. Timestamp.
Intro. See, I could even in post
title
in post production, I could even add like a little thing to say, but I'm not going to do that because I'm set in my ways.
Not about that life. Yeah.
We'll
just do it at the start.
Yeah, let's do it right next time. Yeah, me too. I'm going to go.
See you later.
Have a good one. Stay away from that bin.